Yeah, as I was saying,
Yeah, right.
cold, well, cold in the Bay is, I don't know if we can really complain, but I have
Well,
high tolerance or low tolerance when it comes to cold.
okay. I mean, clearly, by the judgment of the outfit today, we're actually opposites for some reason. Today's been really hot in London, specifically in
Really?
my office. Um, let's see. Are you kidding me? It's 13 Celsius in San Francisco, and in London it's 4.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I have low tolerance. I have low
That is
tolerance,
that
and
is epic. Yep.
PG&E is PG&E. It's ridiculous. Like it gets pretty expensive out here, and I have an older house. The list goes on, but long story
Okay.
short, I'm layered up for today's episode of the Tech Sales Experience.
Yes, good segue. You know what's really random, and for people who are watching video are totally gonna be able to see this vision and see the two images side by side, and then you. Has anyone ever told you that if, bear with me,
Okay.
if Jamie Foxx, okay,
Okay.
and Michael B. Jordan had a baby, it would be you.
And this is the first I've heard of the Jamie Foxx. And
Really?
this is the first I've heard of Jamie Foxx.
What have you
I
heard?
love Jamie Foxx. I think he's funny as heck. So I
He
mean,
is so funny.
yeah, I'll take it.
I mean, that's the dream, baby. They just had you. So
The
here we
dream
go.
baby.
Today, today, we have a few things we want to talk about. Where do you want to start?
I want to start off by complimenting that shirt. So whoever made that shirt, slide into my DMs. I want one. I'll wear it on the show too.
You know who it is? I got this maybe 2 or 3 years ago now, somewhere like that, from Jake Dunlap. He was doing this whole revamp with this company Scaled, and part of that was create the future of sales. So a few of us from Rev Genius were promoting this and kind of putting our thoughts to it, like what is the future of sales? And it's funny because every time I put on this T-shirt, I've had it now for a while, and I wear it on occasions. So I wear it when I feel like empowered, because what it means to me is like I am the future of sales. So when you look at me, I am a woman of color. I'm a Black woman, and I am the future of sales. And I hope that when people see the statement, that they feel something that they can relate to, that they too are part of the future of sales. So yes, that's what it
Facts,
means to me.
facts. Jake, holler at me.
Yep.
Jake, what's up? Sponsorship? No, I'm playing.
So funny.
Well, yes. What do we have in store for the viewers and listeners today?
Okay, so we definitely want to like do a little quick debrief on the roundtable situation that we had with the hot topic of fake it until you make it. And then there's some other things. I don't know how you feel, but recently I feel like pretty fiery and just like, oh, there's so much to discuss. There's so much to tackle in this experience of being in tech sales. And I think recently there's been just so many layoffs happening, and it's impacted so many people. So that's something I definitely want us to talk about.
Okay.
And then I don't know what else you had on your side.
I had some spicy stuff to talk about too. But we'll
Yes.
say that. We'll say that towards the end if we have time.
Okay.
We might have to do a part two. We might have to reserve that for the following week. But I
Okay.
definitely have some things to share. But let's make it a
Yes, please.
surprise, and let's talk about the last week. Let's talk about the roundtable because first of all, it was so fun having that first
Yeah.
roundtable. Shout out to our guests for attending, and
Love having them on. It was so much fun.
yeah,
I think I came in with the thought, because I had run that Instagram poll before leading up to this. It's
yeah.
kind of had like an idea what people might think. But then once we got to having the conversation, I think that we all came together and just listened to like different thoughts, different perspectives. I think that that's what was so cool about that conversation.
Mhm.
Um, and I really like that. I enjoyed the first roundtable.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we need to like go too deep into like what the outcome was, only because like I think by the end of the episode we came
Yeah.
to some some findings and some understandings. But
Hmm.
yeah, I really loved it too. I think in the grand scheme of things, like fake until you make it, it's complex. It's not as black and white as we might think initially. And
Yeah.
I think that the main takeaway was that on the candidate side, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but ultimately it's the responsibility of these employers to build a space where people can be them authentic themselves and have space to not be perfect or
Yeah.
fit into some box. So
Matter of fact, I think it's their duty to do that. I think that is what they should be striving for and should already be doing. And if they're not, then, you know, let's start over. uh,
burn it down. No, just close up
God,
shop. No,
no,
just play
no,
it.
no, no.
I just be playing,
Mm,
sometimes.
yeah. So yeah, there's that. And then there's also layoffs happening across the board. And what's interesting, and not so interesting actually at all, it's not interesting, it's heartbreaking, is
Yeah.
what it is. When you have friends and other organizations going through this like in real time and being laid off for whatever reasons that may be, but also like doesn't really seem justifiable, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because how likely is it, if you think about it, think about the last organization you worked for. If you weren't the top sales rep, someone else was. And think about that top sales rep in that organization, the person, the sales rep who uh overachieves on their quota quarter by quarter,
Yeah.
the one who makes President's Club because that's how damn good they are consistently, and the person who has the ability to make friends anywhere they go. And also, not to think about the same person who put themselves out there with this company, with this role, with this team, whatever the case might be. Same individual gets let go.
Mm.
And you go, how? And it's it's heartbreaking because not only is this like someone you know, and not only that, but there are many others like it for
Yeah.
whatever reason. And that's what's so crazy about it. And I'm thinking like, I don't know what that is, but that is just a part of the tech sales experience, isn't it? Like this is part of it. Some more than others, but like I've been through through this before where my role at the time was eliminated from the
Yeah.
company. So it's like, oh, okay, you just, figure out what to do next, but that's not the issue, I think, for most people getting laid off. Like the practical aspect of getting back up on your feet and going through the motion and the process that you have to go through to find your next opportunity, whatever there might be, or do what other people might do, like yourself. You have gone on your own and created something absolutely beautiful, and people take that path too. But regardless, like what the path is, I think looking at the emotional part of this is super important. People come into and leave organizations feeling traumatized. And that is not the vibe that we want to have and reputation in tech sales. And I don't understand why there's such a disconnect between the experience of that sales rep and the employer making that happen and being responsible, why they aren't aligning better. Like, these aren't the qualities, these aren't the reputations, and these aren't like the legacies that people, individuals, or companies want to leave behind. So why do it?
Well, I think this is actually this is um a topic of broader. This goes beyond tech sales. This is tech and
Mm-hmm.
corporate America, or not even
Of
America,
course.
corporate America and corporate UK. But
Thank you for being so inclusive.
yes. Corporate, money makes the world go round. But I think in tech sales, just to speak and give my perspective on it, we've definitely always had this kind of dark cloud hovering behind us of like my job is at risk. This
Mhm.
concept of being put on the PIP and quota attainment. Like we're used to like kind of, if we're not performing, we're likely going to get let go. But I think today is different. What's going on today with these layoffs are just, it's much greater. It's much more having a larger impact. And if you ask me, I think a lot of the companies, there are some companies that have valid reasons for letting people go. If like you're a Series A company, you got a few $1 million in the bank, you have to like survive. I get that. But I think a lot of these companies, especially when you talk about the Googles and the Microsoft, these companies who have like, they are the economy. Like they, like, I think some companies are making, like using this economy as a way to kind of let go of people in masses. And I think the trend right now is the companies are trying to do more with less. And so I think that's their philosophy. Is like, hey, you know, we believe that we can get to the same we can hit these same targets with less people. And to a certain degree, that's fair. But I think that, you know, these companies are going about it the wrong way, which is having this emotional impact. And, you know, I think it hurts the morale of the people that stay. And I think it can leave a bad taste. And there are certain companies that are doing this quite well, like Zoom. They had to do a layoff recently. So Zoom, their CEO said, yeah, messed up. He was accountable for it. And we're letting people go, but I'm also taking 80% or 90 something percent pay cut. All the executive team are taking a 20% pay cut. We're foregoing our bonuses. I think that's a great way to lead by example. And then Apple, 100%. Tim Cook, my goodness. He said we don't lay people off. I was like, man, that's the type of CEO I would want to be. Like, you know, now granted, that takes some good planning and good just operationally, like they got their ducks in a row and they're a great company. They're probably the best company in the world. But I think that's the type of leadership that some of these other companies aren't displaying. Other companies are like literally following and say, oh, these other companies are following or laying people off. Let us also do the same.
Yeah, because we can do more with less is kind of the philosophy. And
or
you know,
they think they can do more with less.
Yeah, they think that's the mindset, right? In most cases, maybe. But and by the way, I don't know. Like I'm just saying these are some of the actual things that are happening that I know from people experiencing it right now. And to me, it's just the fact that people doesn't seem to respect the fact that there are feelings involved in this process, like the emotional trauma of being let go and how you're being let go. And you know, the lack of access to things that you might hold really close to your, you know, career and your journey and your experience. So I just think there's like so much more to it that needs to be
I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000% because I don't, you know, first and foremost, I'm a believer in God. I am a person of faith, and let's get that on the record. And I believe that our work is really our job, yes, to pay the bills, but it's also to like help build God's kingdom, right? So I see it in that way. Now, my question for you is like, it's definitely like, so with my perspective, I'm with you. We shouldn't just think about profits over everything, because at the end of the day, this is about driving our mission to changing the world for the better. But for these companies that don't think that way, why should they care about the feelings of people that they're ultimately letting go? Like you have to, well, like, why should they care?
Yeah. So because the people who are left behind, who are staying at the company, are the ones going to continue to drive the revenue forward, aren't they? They're the one who's left that are now carrying this forward for better or worse. You know, as long as they stay there as a rep, they are deciding and committed to moving forward and bringing in revenue to the company. So you should care about those people who you left behind and decided to keep. And because of that, you might now have re-traumatized people who did get to stay, or you might have created resentment with the people who got to stay because maybe they didn't like how their peers and now their friends got treated, and now they have a bad taste in their mouth, and that's not nice either. So that's why you should care at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's simple. Like
that's facts. I agree. I don't think they think these are the pieces of the puzzle that are often hard to like think about if you're looking at it, think something holistically.
Yeah.
And it's also hard to kind of measure the impact, the potential impact that that's going to have. Like,
On the
but
rest of the teams, yeah.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
do think though that this brings an opportunity for folks to start businesses. Like I was laid off. I was not planning to work on JobSki full time. I was not like that was not the plan. The plan was to
Right.
continue to, you know, do user research, working on the side, you know, see if this
Yeah.
was something that could be cool. And I was laid off. And so that's what prompted me to say, all in, let's go. God got me. God did. No, you know what I mean? But anyway, that was the plan. And I think, I hope that the other folks kind of see the silver, that have that silver lining as well, especially folks that look like us, especially folks that are have an entrepreneurial bug inside of them. I hope that they take this as an opportunity to might exploit that if possible, because I know entrepreneurship is not easy. It's like I'm very blessed in the sense that I can even go on this journey. So, but I hope that other folks that have been impacted by layoffs either find their next gig fast or are able to take advantage of this time.
Yeah. Same. I wish the same. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But find a way to get through it. I think biggest one that might seem obvious, but like be strategic in the way that you find your next opportunity and treat it like a sales process. I think that's the number one thing. If you're good at sales, you should be okay getting to your next opportunity, wherever that might be and wherever that might take you.
Facts. Well, I was looking at the list here. We gotta, man, you know, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Should we go into, okay, well, did you have anything else that you wanted to share about the layoffs, or is any other aspects of this that you wanted to touch on? Because it is a very, very much it's not super, it's like, it's multifaceted. There's a lot going on. So are there other things you wanted to touch on as it relates to like the layoffs, as well as the tech sales professionals?
Not right now, no. I would just say like be kind to yourself and each other the best as you can be. And yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Well, I guess
Where do you want to go next? I'm curious because you said you had so much to talk about, and
well, I had something spicy to share. So
share it. Go ahead.
okay, well, I want to get your thoughts on that. I want you to tell me if I'm tripping or not. Okay, so let me pull up.
I get to be the judge.
Yes.
Great. Always wanted to. So go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Let me first and foremost, let me find this, and of course we're going to edit this.
5 minutes later.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I got the email.
Right.
Perfect.
Let me set the stage. Let me set the stage for the viewers. This email came on February 2nd, so it's Black History Month. And the subject of the email is, where are the Black founders? Where are the Black founders?
Why aren't there more Black founders?
And then, so the subject is, where are the Black founders? And then the first sentence is, why aren't there more Black founders? Okay. So as a Black founder, I'm naturally curious about this email, because I'm like, I'm a Black founder. And my hope is that, there's going to be some resources for me, or they're looking for Black founders to help and support.
Yeah.
So the email goes in, and we're going to show the email on the screen. Folks can read it. But basically, it's a short kind of newsletter. They have a quote from an undisclosed Black man. It just says, it generally sucks being a Black founder raising today. A Black founder told TechCrunch. I don't even know who this Black founder is. It would be nice to see his company. Maybe we can reach out and support.
Right.
And then it goes in to kind of share the metrics of Black entrepreneurship in tech, and the fact that we make up 2% of, less than 2% of VC-backed companies. And then it goes into layoffs hit Black people and people of color harder, right? And they have another quote from another Black leader who just, again, acknowledges that it's hard out here.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's I'm going through it. There's a section that says no easy answers. And the studies zeroed in on 4 key contributors to why there are no Black founders.
Yeah.
And the 4 things are: they tend to have smaller teams. They are less likely to have worked at the same companies or go to the same schools. Black startups are less likely to be located in geographies where the capital is. And the 4th one that just really threw me for a loop was Black startups are less likely to have a patent. And then the last paragraph, they talk about a Black bank movement, a bank that is looking to invest in Black companies. Then it goes into the rest of the newsletter where they try to get you to sign up for their jobs and stuff. And so as a Black founder reading this, I was a bit disappointed because it's like, this seems very performative. And like, what is the point of this email? Because as a Black founder reading that, there's no resources to help.
Right.
And I just feel like if you're going to celebrate Black History Month, in my opinion, as Black people, I don't know too many of us that celebrate Black History Month by mulling over the inequalities that we face in the world. We typically are celebrating the folks that have paved the way, not just for us, but for all of humanity. And when I saw this email, it was just very disappointing. I was hoping for by the end of it, I was like, okay, there's going to be some resources for Black founders. Like, they're going to connect me with some VCs. Or I was hoping that rather than listing the potential reasons, or I would call them excuses, for why the powers that be don't invest in Black companies, they would show the reasons why they should be investing.
Exactly. Bring the positives up and take down that negative vibe and all the bad shit that no one needs to get reminded of. Like, tell me, this is the problem I'm having, is that, one, people are not willing to share the way. Like, what was the way? How did you accomplish something? That doesn't mean that I'm going to follow the exact same pathway and blueprint, because there's no such thing. It just means that you paved the way because you've experienced it. So now show me. This is why we have enablement. Show me the best practices. What should I be focusing on right now to get closer to success? Show me that part. Don't show me all this other bullshit on the side that's just telling me what's not working and why you're not going to succeed. That's like super negative, and no one wants to consume that.
And I'm like, well, who's the audience of this newsletter? Because as a Black founder, there's nothing valuable here for me. If anything, I was like a little frustrated, and it kind of was like a little frustrating because, if your audience is white people, what does this do for them? Like, how does this fix the problem for us? Like, if anything, if I'm a white venture capitalist or a non-Black venture capitalist, and I'm reading those excuses or those reasons why Black founders don't get funded, I'm like,
you're just kind of feeding into why.
Exactly. Exactly. No, this is right on.
Makes sense. Right. And you're validating actually why people wouldn't continue to invest.
Exactly. And it's like, so my question to you, Galem, was I tripping? Or it was like, or am I?
I mean, if you're tripping, then I'm gone. And that's all I can say about that one. I'm heated about this one because it's not like that shit. And then there are other industries out there that are even lower on the barrier than Black founders, which Black founders would typically be men and not women. But if you were to also look at like even further, how many women gets funding, not that many. And then you look even further into that, you look into specific industries that get funded to help, like medical, women's health, like femtech is up and coming. That's new, huge market, like billion-dollar industry, but they don't get a lot of funding. And imagine like if you are like me, a Black woman who wanted to start this for whatever reason in that particular industry, what are the likelihood to get that funding? But there are ways to get the funding or other ways to raise money. So it's of course not impossible, but that's not what we're focusing on, all the ways you cannot get there. You rather know what are the ways to get there. What should I be focusing on?
And I think Black founders have a very unique perspective and skill set. And I'm not saying that, like, if you're looking for like a cookie cutter of what you're used to, then yeah, we're not going to fit that mold. But like, I think there, there's a growth opportunities here for everyone involved. Like, even for myself, I know that like I have some shortcomings when it comes to like this whole entrepreneurship tech startup. I've never done it before. Of course, I'm going to have some shortcomings. But I also know that I'm gritty as hell. I don't quit and I work hard, and I'm a very creative person. And so if I'm a venture capitalist, rather than saying, okay, you don't fit in this box, I'm going to open up the box and I'm going to say, hey, here's how we're going to be able to help support you, here. Like, and so I think there's an opportunity for everyone involved. And I think we'll do something that I wish the article would have did. Like, in the show notes, what we'll do is we'll provide resources. So if we do have people that are Black founders that are interested, or people that are interested in starting companies, we'll provide some resources on how to get funded. We give you an initial roadmap, and that's my commitment for this show. This episode is to provide a few resources in the show notes for folks. But I didn't know if I was tripping, because I was like, hold on.
Thank you. No, you're not tripping. I can validate for you right now. I'm just saying, from my point of view, you're not tripping. That's absolutely valid to feel, to express. Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
And another thing too is another Black founder I heard say this, like, Black founders, we are not charity cases. And so, or women founders are not charity cases either, because we make up less than 5% of all venture. Women wake up half the world. Like, so, and Black people and people of color and women make up like less than 5% of like VC backed companies. So there's definitely some insider stuff happening where it's like that access is not there. And I don't complain though. I have the biggest insider, which is God. And so I'm a big believer in that. And I think there's other believers that will ultimately find their ways to me, or I'll find my way to them. But yeah, like, it's there's definitely some change that needs to happen. And the point that I was going to make is we're not sitting here asking for handouts. Like, we want to build great companies.
Yeah.
And profitable companies.
Exactly.
So
yeah. Couldn't have said it any better or any differently than what you just said, because I don't know about you, but like, after a long day of working and you have constant kind of things coming your way, because one, it's your responsibility, but two, things that you also want to do and you're involved in. But then, like, you have also friends and you have people and they also have things that they notice. Hey, you're good at this. And oh, you're good at that. Can I ask you about this? And it's kind of like happening off hours, when you're supposed to have like downtime. And that's been really difficult for me to manage. And it goes to this point of people are constantly asking for handouts or asking for things, but they're not willing to give the same in return, or to even pay for that. Like, I remember for the past 2 years, I've been doing virtual events, I've been doing speaking engagements, also in person, been doing things, to kind of, I don't know, build something. But I haven't got paid a lot of those times. I got paid for things that people wouldn't think that they would have paid for when it comes to content creation. But, it's so interesting, because now it's also the other part of it. It's not just pointing fingers and saying, you should have paid me, you should have done this because I am a Black woman and I'm giving you all this shit for free, and like lifting your company up and whatever. You can go on and on. That's not the point. The other point is also, like, you have to take responsibility on yourself to change that behavior, to change that, to go from saying yes to saying, hold on, wait a minute, how does this go? And change the direction, right? I think that comes on the ownership of the person also. So you can't just sit as a Black person and say, oh, people are always asking me for handouts or doing this and doing that, when at the same time you're accepting it, you're allowing it. I think that cycle has to break as well. And then one thing that drives me nuts is just like, why is it that sometimes Black people seem to have difficulties coming together to make something happen. And it drives me a little bit crazy that there's like too much of an inaction to take action. You know what I mean? And therefore nothing is happening for the bigger picture and for the bigger movement. And that to me is like, I'm a part of the problem too. I'm not saying I'm not, but do you know what I'm saying?
I do. I just want to be careful because we're going to have different people watching this, and I want to make sure that I'll say that here's my perspective on it. I think yes, sometimes there's like the crabs in the barrel mentality. Oftentimes we feel like we can only be the only one to find success and to have like yes. But I think there are people that like really want to support and love supporting Black.
100%.
So
100%.
yes,
I am agreeing with that.
You are one of them.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I would hope so. I would hope so, right? I mean, you know the people I've connected you with most recently who are excellent individuals, Black founders, Black people, like our friends in this community that are definitely uplifting 100% themselves, other people around them. But I'm just saying,
let's shout some people out. Why not?
Oh yeah, tons. Okay. Marcus Knight, founder of Culture Perspective, right? Nikki Ivy, she is the director of Sell Better by JB. We have Morgan Ingram. He just founded his own thing, and he's also like one of the first to be a kind of content creator with other companies, which is pretty cool. So that's happening right now, which is dope. GB, Gabrielle Blackwell, shout out. She's actually coming to London pretty soon.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Have her, let's do a joint episode. Have her, sit next to you. I want to chop it up.
She will. She 100% will. I mean, who else? I mean, there's so many.
I got a lot of people. Baron Adams, Shelton over at Rework, Real.
Shelton Banks, yep.
Hey, Shelton Banks, shout out to him, what he's doing at Rework.
Yeah.
Solace. Julian Green, who else? Morgan
Chantel.
Yeah.
And Chantel from Systems and Sales. She is doing a dope thing. She's been doing dope things for a long time. And also, like, all these people are also the ones who are giving
podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Brother King Cam from the campaign show. These are the upcoming Ren. These are the upcoming leaders. So you mentioned a lot of the OGs. Like, there's some upcoming people that not only are doing great things, but they're also like super eager and excited to give back to the community. And then I'm going to give a shout out to everybody on Jobski that's Black. Everybody that when I was initially reaching out, like the founder of RepView, he reached out to me when he was creating the company.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Can you put a review in for a company?" And I did. Never got my t-shirt, but
you and your damn t-shirts.
Never got my t-shirt, but I built and so as a fellow founder, I was on that same journey of like, sign up for Jobski, use it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people didn't, as you were speaking to. Not everyone was eager to like support and see what was going on, be an early adopter. But there was a lot that were. And to anyone that signed up, even if you're not on it today, like,
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Like, come on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. It meant a lot. And I'll never forget it. And I'll always make sure to be there for you as well.
Yeah. Can I also just one person I have to shout out because he has been a personal supporter of mine. He even posted, and I have it saved. It takes up, this video is like 5 minutes long of him. Like we just connected from the moment we met each other on Zoom, and I had him on my podcast, Duane Brown. Yeah, I mean, we cannot end that segment without mentioning him because he's amazing.
Man.
And I have so much love for him. So yeah, we have to mention him. We love you.
I'm glad you brought him up. Duane, I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry, man. I love Duane because he not only does he support I love DeJuan because he just a very much the most. I call him the most thoughtful person on LinkedIn. Like his posts be on, it just be super thought provoking. I'm philosophical.
Yep.
The Black Socrates of tech sales.
Yes, that's the one. Okay, so we need to get some of these amazing people onto this podcast to talk about their
Charles Thompson. Shout out to you as well, brother.
Yep.
Yeah,
God, there's so many.
John Hall. There's a lot of people, Ella Stone, like a lot of people that are supporting and support. And so let's do more.
Nathan Kraft, he's been amazing as well. Oh God, we have a whole list.
Alfonso from Trees. Yeah, lots of people. Like, let's keep this vibe going. Like, let's support one another. Let's collaborate, not compete. Because at the end of the day, we're stronger together. And why not? Let's do it. Let's turn up. Like, you know, let's support one another. So, yeah, I'm glad we had that segment. Okay, I want to segment to one thing.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What does the word woke mean?
I mean, do you want like a definition of it?
I'm curious what the word woke meant because I thought it meant one thing, and now I'm hearing it in a whole nother, like in a whole nother kind of context. So I'm low key confused.
So what? How do you know of woke?
So I came across the word woke when Get Out, the movie Get Out, came out.
Okay.
Childish Gambino, I think he had a song, but the word woke. Remember when she was doing the tea and putting them to sleep and putting them in that trance, and so it was like stay woke out here, black folk, like see through, like me getting that email. And I can see all of like the performativeness inside of it. That's stay woke. Now that's what I thought stay woke meant. But I'm hearing the elite, these people that don't look like us, the people that are, is bringing this story full circle. These people that, you know, are venture capital, like basically the elite, and also the like in politics, the right. There's a candidate running for president, DeSantis. He eliminated Black history, AP history in schools in Florida, or that's like what he's working towards. And he's calling it, he's against this woke campaign, and people are saying woke in a negative way. And so I'm curious, are you on, like, because am I tripping? Again, remind me here. Am I tripping?
It's the second time. Am I tripping? It's a good question. You need validation. So, okay, I had to Google it just to make sure that I'm not talking shit. So, okay, it says that, described by Merriam-Webster, that the word woke means to be aware and actively attentive to important facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice.
Okay, Miriam.
Just saying. So are you woke?
Oh, I'm about to pull up woke in Urban Dictionary. Hold on.
I just have to give you one version of
No, this is good. You give one, I'll give the other.
Yeah. So balance each other.
I want a funny one, to be honest, though. But okay. 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 Here's the definition from Urban Dictionary. I'm gonna bleep out the first word because it's a little abrasive. But woke means to be paying the attention to what's going on, because if you don't, you'll get over and left behind. That's woke. So I think it's a combination of Merriam and Urban Dictionary. Somewhere, I think, you know, they're saying the same thing, just in different ways.
Yeah, but, like, are you aware of these injustices that are social and racial? And if you're not, you know, at this point, then you're not woke.
If you don't know, be woke, people. These people out there using woke in terms of it's a bad thing to be. Not woke. They are not woke. And matter of fact, they're pushing
exactly.
They're pushing in. They're not woke. They're not even tied in. They're not even tapped into what's really going on. They're not tapped into the culture. They're appropriating our culture. That was a black vernacular word that's now being flipped onto its back into something negative to say, but you know, being woke is a good thing. Stay woke and stay woke and support your brothers and sisters and support people just generally that are doing good things for the world.
Exactly.
I had to get that off my chest. I've been seeing a lot of people like saying woke. I watch a lot of podcasts and I like to get diverse perspectives. So I'm watching different podcasts and people that don't look like us. They have fascinating things to say. But anytime they say the word woke in a negative connotation, I'm like, huh?
Also, I just have to mention this because I resonated so much with it and I felt so seen by this woman. So she posted this, I think, on TikTok, then it came on Instagram. I saw it on Instagram. And she's a white woman. She is a white blonde woman. And she talks about her mindset of how one time when there was herself and this black woman in the same role doing the same job, how she was kind of looking down at that other woman, the black one, as kind of being like on the sideline, right? To helping assist her, the white blonde woman, in her career. Like she was the help, like she was helping her to assist her in her career. But as soon as the black woman next to her did the same job, exceeded in something, because she was always ahead of her. You know, she always was like on top of stuff. But as soon as she felt a bit threatened, she noticed that, or eventually she noticed that she felt that way. And she felt like, you know what, I'm not thinking the same way as I do about this woman as I do with other peers looking like me. And that was she obviously told the story way better than I ever could because it came from her and her experience. But I felt something watching that. And I felt for once that someone understood the feeling that I've had, that, you know, other women who don't look like me don't always maybe want me to be as successful as they are or can be, because that would be a threat to them. That would be a threat in their jobs or maybe their security. And I think that whole mindset and that whole kind of thing that sometimes happens, one, obviously needs to be addressed, but two, I think just someone else speaking from their point of view and how they have experienced it really opened up this dialogue for other people to come into the conversation. So you look at her comments, you look at her interactions, and you look at her broadening her network and her perspectives. And that's what was so beautiful about hearing her story of her going through that, and then also coming to realization that, hold on, I was actually feeding that thing that I didn't want to, but I realized it, and now I can do better, or no, I can do something different.
No, that's amazing. That's why we actually folks stay woke. Like
stay woke. That's the whole point.
Stay aware. Like being woke is not a bad thing. Like we're all privileged. We're all into one way or another privileged. And I don't know. I'm a believer. I think a lot of the world are believers in one way or another, whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, whatever, spiritual, we're believers. And at the end of the day, it's like, do you want to be a gatekeeper? Do you want to be somebody that holds people back? Do you want to be somebody that stumps people down? Or do you want to be a person that lifts people up and helps people become their best selves and be more than just an animal beast that just eats and is afraid to like because at the end of the day, that's what separates us from the lion. The lion is there is a certain degree of like fear that needs to happen with another lion coming to eat, or like a tiger coming to eat their food. But like, we're human beings, and like we can think, we're here to like preserve the world and to be good citizens of this thing we call Earth. And so anyway, that's my tangent. But that's beautiful to see that there was someone that was aware and that was able to start that dialogue, because at the end of the day, that's what we need, is dialogue. You can't be afraid to have these tough conversations, because last week was a great example. Last week was a kind of a tough conversation, but it's these conversations that bring us together, because nothing is actually that black and white. Like, it's all gray. And if we can come together and figure out solutions that help and bring us together instead of like polarizing and being on opposite sides of the spectrum, I think we can build some incredible companies, incredible teams, incredible countries, UK.
And incredible experience Because that's the point, right? At the end of the day, like we're going through a journey, individual, but also together. And at the end of the day, like the experiences that we're having in being in tech sales, and being in this, it's really like its own little bubble, its own little world of beings. It's a cool experience, and yeah, it's fun. But yeah, that's pretty much the wrap. What were we going to talk about next?
I think
Like next week.
Yeah. Let's talk offline.
Yes,
Next
but
week.
I do have a question though, because you have some upcoming events, right, with Jobski. That might be relevant.
Yes.
We'll come back to.
I'm gonna share one event because I believe
Okay.
this. Yeah, on the 28th, the last day of the month at sorry, last day of the month. I'm going to be hosting an event titled "The Future of Tech Sales from the Black Perspectives." This is on February 28th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll hear from other Black sales professionals. We mentioned Dewan. He's going to be on the panel. We're just going to talk about the future. A lot of the topics we've been touching on in this podcast, but it'll be a one-time thing roundtable where we have people. So it'll be live. Come join. Sign up for jobski.io. And in the home dashboard, I'll share that here. In the home dashboard, there'll be a RSVP. So you can RSVP there.
Dope. I'm actually going to do that right away because it's been on my mind, which is why I had to remind myself by asking the question, but also get the word out because that's going to be a really fun roundtable to be at. Yeah.
Well, hey, it's been real.
It's been real.
Per usual. I just got one thing to say to you before we go.
Of course. We always do.
Stay
woke. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.